Hello and welcome to the Capital Games Movie Club. I am the Wiz. Today, we are continuing to count down to the Oscar nominations that are going to be on January 24th, 2023. And of course, the ceremony is in March 12th, 2023. And what we're doing is I am going to predict who is going to be nominated in the 6 main categories. Yesterday, we did the Best Supporting Actress. Today, we're doing Best Supporting Actor. And then we have Actress, Actor, Director, and Film. So why don't we go ahead and get started on that. First off, before we get into who I think will get nominated for a Best Supporting Actor, I'm going to talk about who I think is going to get snubbed, and basically has had some talk about them possibly getting an award nomination, but will not quite make it. And there's some heavy hitters in this list, so why don't we get started? The first one that I think is going to get snubbed is Brad Pitt from Babylon. Brad Pitt just won, I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and since then has not gotten much recognition. Babylon was believed to be a movie that was going to get a lot of recognition because of Margot Robbie's in it. It's directed by Damien Chazelle. It's got a fantastic look to it. It's about old Hollywood. So a lot of people were thinking before it was released that it would get a ton of nominations. Well, the reception to it was kind of lukewarm. Some loved it, some did not like it. Not a lot of people really praised Brad Pitt in it. More were really impressed with Diego Calva and Margot Robbie. And on top of that, Brad Pitt has had some of his own personal issues in the past year or so. So it's looking like he will not make the cut on this one. So I think the first one that's going to get snubbed is Brad Pitt. Second one is Eddie Redmayne for The Good Nurse. Eddie Redmayne is going to have a really hard time getting an Oscar nomination in the future, I think. He's going to have to pull out some fantastic performances in big movies in order to get back into the Oscar discussion. The Good Nurse is not talked about at all in this, and the only reason why I think a lot of people were predicting, or a lot of outlets predicting that he may get nominated, was because he was nominated and won for 2 other films in the past, which is The Theory of Everything and, oh god, The Danish Girl? Ugh, yeah. Well, the problem with Redmayne now is that as time has gone on, some seem to think he was overrated and did not deserve both awards he got. So it's looking like it's going to be a really hard time for him to actually get nominated again when it comes to getting Oscar nominations. So Eddie Redmayne for The Good Nurse, that is another snub that's going to happen. Tom Hanks for Elvis. So I'm going to take my personal feelings aside from Tom Hanks in Elvis, but a lot of people thought since Elvis was going to definitely get some Best Picture nods, Austin Butler would definitely get nominated. It would just make sense that Tom Hanks would get nominated for Best Supporting Actor, since he's in it about as much as Austin Butler is. And to be fair, if you watch the movie, Tom Hanks' character as Tom Parker is the main character of the movie. He's the one narrating. He's the one that flows the story along. He's in it just as much. But there were a couple of problems. First off, his performance is very divisive. Some do like his performance. Others can't stand it. I'm the one that can't stand it, of course. So there's that issue. On top of that, the studio that made Elvis and is distributing it and putting its money towards these Oscar campaigns are putting it all out on Butler. They want Butler to get everything. So they've kind of took Hanks' side and put it to the side and said, let's not worry about that. So I think Tom Hanks will definitely get snubbed on getting a Best Supporting Actor nomination. Besides, when he does roles, he usually gets Best Actor. It's looking like Tom Hanks will not get Best Supporting Actor nods on this. The next one is Brian Henry Tyree for Causeway. This performance got a lot of strong buzz when it was getting out in limited release. Critics have loved this performance. A lot of people seem to think he should get it. It's not as loud as, let's say, Stephanie Hsu from Everything Everywhere All at Once, but he's getting a lot of positive reinforcement from critics and from others who have seen the movie and said that he is really good in this. The problem is Causeway, not a lot of people have seen it, and it doesn't sound like a lot of people that are in the Academy who decide on who gets voted in have also seen it as well. It's been very quiet as well with Brian Henry Tyree. This would be one of those happy surprises that he does get nominated, but I don't think that's going to happen in this one. So Brian Henry Tyree for Causeway is another one that gets snubbed. Judd Hirsch for The Fabelmans. With Judd Hirsch, my feeling is that when it comes to Best Supporting Actor, another co-star of his is going to get all the oxygen in the room. I do not think he's going to get nominated at all for this, although I've heard the performance is pretty good and the talk about his performance is strong. I don't see in any circumstance whether he gets the nomination on this. Although the talk has been he gave a good performance, is not as good as others. And The Fabelmans is really getting more recognition based upon it being a Spielberg biopic. And that's it. There's really not much going on in the performances. Even when some performances are praised, it's not getting that much praise. So I don't think Judd Hirsch is getting it. I think a co-star of his is going to get it, but I will talk about that when that comes. And then the final one is Jeremy Strong from Armageddon Time. Jeremy Strong's performance got a lot of praise as well from critics and from people who've seen the movie. Unfortunately, the problem is that Jeremy Strong, and this still happens to this day, Jeremy Strong is still looked upon as a TV actor. And of course, when you think TV actor, you're thinking Jeremy Strong, you're thinking Succession. So usually, unless the performance is really good and is like the performance of the year, the Oscars tend to not give performance award nominations to people who are more known for being on TV than in movies. There have been exceptions, but that generally is the case in this one. So I think Jeremy Strong gets snubbed when it comes to getting the Best Supporting Actor nod. All right, so we've got the snubs done. Let's go into what I think are going to be the predicted nominees for Best Supporting Actor. The first one I'm going to talk about is Paul Dano from The Fabelmans. This is the co-star that I think was going to get it over Judd Hirsch. Paul Dano is an actor that has been getting a lot of praise for his movies, even though he hasn't gotten a lot of recognition for it. And this is about that time where he's going to get recognized. His performance in The Fabelmans has been called very good in that, even though it may not be as good as his performances in Love and Mercy and There Will Be Blood. And let's also talk about the fact that he was the villain in probably one of the more popular films this year in The Batman. So they're going to want to recognize him there as well to a certain extent. So I think this will lead to Paul Dano getting a nomination for The Fabelmans for Best Supporting Actor. The next one is Ben Whishaw for Women Talking. If you watch the Best Supporting Actress nominations that I put down, I pretty much said the women in Women Talking are all going to get snubbed. But there is going to be one performance that gets in, and it's going to be Ben Whishaw for Women Talking. And this is going to anger some people, because there are people who are fans of the movie, but think that it's not getting the recognition it deserves, and that's true. It doesn't. But I would also say that supporting actress and actor and supporting actress and actress are much more competitive this year than I would say supporting actor in this. I think supporting actor, I had to really kind of guess where I think it was going, because it didn't seem like there were a lot of strong nominations on this one. But yeah, I think that's basically what's going to lead to Ben Whishaw getting Women Talking. Not that it's not a great performance, but the competitiveness of this category is nowhere near as strong as it is in other categories. So I think Ben Whishaw sneaks in and gets nominated for Women Talking. The next one's Barry Keoghan for The Banshees of Inisherin. Banshees of Inisherin is getting tons of praise. It's now available on HBO Max, so more people can watch it. And the people who are watching it say it's very good. They often cite that his specific scene in the movie is probably one of the best in the movie as well. He's often cited as a very good actor who is on the up and will probably get more interesting roles as time goes on. Barry Keoghan is definitely going to be one that I think gets nominated based on that, and based on the fact that the Banshees of Inisherin is going to rake up a lot of nominations. And this is not the only Banshees of Inisherin actor that's going to be on here, so wait for that. Ke Huy Quan for Everything Everywhere All at Once. This is obvious. He has gotten a lot of praise. I think more than Michelle Yeoh when it comes to Everything Everywhere All at Once. So this is no surprise that he's getting in. He also just won the Golden Globe. He won Critics' Choice. He's winning awards left and right. So I'm usually I wasn't gonna say who I think is gonna win these awards, but it looks like it's Ke Huy Quan's to lose. So he's definitely getting nominated. And yes, I also think he will probably end up winning. But I'll have a prediction video as to who I think will win later on down the road. So that is Ke Huy Quan for Everything Everywhere All at Once. And the final Best Supporting Actor nomination, I think, is going to be Brendan Gleeson from the Banshees of Inisherin. Brendan Gleeson has put in some great performances in movies like Calvary and other movies from Martin McDonagh, like In Bruges. And he's gotten a lot of praise from critics and fans as well in regards to his performances in those movies. Doesn't come to surprise to me that he will more than likely get nominated for this movie as well. Is a very affecting performance. Critics love him in this. They love him as much as they do Colin Farrell. But I think they're going to do what they did with Brokeback Mountain. And they concentrated more on Brendan Gleeson getting supporting actor and Colin Farrell getting actor in this. So I think that's where it's going to lead to. This is kind of a risky pick because the talk initially was that he was going to go Best Actor along with Colin Farrell. But I think that kind of died down and they switched it over pretty quickly to him getting Best Supporting Actor, which is a good move on their part. It's going to hurt another actor, and I'll tell you who that is in another video later. But yeah, I think this will lead Brendan Gleeson to get an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor. Okay, so here are my 5 predicted nominees for Best Supporting Actor. It is Paul Dano from The Fabelmans, Ben Whishaw from Women Talking, Barry Keoghan from The Banshees of Inisherin, Ke Huy Quan, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Brendan Gleeson from The Banshees of Inisherin. The nominees will be announced on January 24th, 2023. I think that's at 8:30 in the morning. Yay, I'll be up for that. But and then the ceremony will be March 12th, 2023. So look forward to all that. Tune in next time where I talk about who I think will get snubbed and will get the nominations for Best Actress. Until then, I am The Wiz. This is the Capital Games Movie Club. Talk to you next time. Bye.